All right, time to bring on Mina Kimes. We're very excited about this. Our favorite part of the week. Well, not mine because I'm not here usually when we do this with Mina. But Mina, I will tell you, I was very disappointed. You gave a hot bold take. The camera was right up in your face, okay? They were trying to get you to do what they get me to do around here. And your bold take, and you and I have worked on this. We've been in the lab together. We've worked on hot takes. Your hot take was the Chiefs are going to make it to the AFC Championship game, a place they have been to for the last 5 seasons.
Okay, I want to say, when was this, 2 weeks ago?
I think so,
it was.
Yeah.
Mike, you were there. Several other people who were here were there. I think that take was a bit hotter a couple of weeks ago. Now it feels like a foregone conclusion. At the time, Mike, everyone in the audience, did it not seem to have a little bit of caliente?
Yeah, they were right on the heels of that Las Vegas performance. And I think that's the first time, because it's weird. It was at the end of the season. I'm like, they're going to turn it around and find their way this season. I paid no mind that we were saying that in like week 16.
Right.
But I was genuinely convinced, this is not a good Kansas City Chiefs team. And they're going to have to play the opening weekend of the NFL playoffs, and they're potentially going to have to do it on the road.
Right.
But now that they got through Miami, and it also timed out with Miami, falling off. But the line is very respectful of these Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, it should be, right?
What if they figure it out in the playoffs? Have they? It's hard to judge off of that performance given all the conditions out there.
Yeah.
But are they figuring it out?
I think they figured out some things, which is why at that time I was still high on them. And maybe it wasn't the hottest take, but it definitely wasn't the most popular take. I got a little bit of blowback for that. I did not retweet the video. I shall be retweeting it if it proves to be correct, which is very Stugotzian of me.
Yep.
Okay, so this Chiefs defense has been good the entire season. And I think that's sort of why I've held out hope even during some of the real offensive doldrums. I think they're a young defense. They're super aggressive. They're super well coached. Steve Spagnuolo is doing an amazing job. You saw that against Miami. A lot of the second-year players are playing really well. George Karlaftis up front. I really like the defense. The question, of course, is offensively. That's what Mike's talking about when he asks if they have figured it out. And I think it was, actually around the time they were playing Buffalo and they lost the Kadarius Toney game that I felt they had finally settled on the correct formula, which is throw the ball to Rashee Rice, like a lot, like most of the time, like pretty much no one else, maybe Travis Kelce here and there. And you saw that come to fruition in the playoff game.
I think why the Vegas game also scared me was Rice had started coming into his own, and they were still feeding Rice. And
they lost.
And they got blown out.
Yes.
Despite the defense playing very well and not allowing a completion outside of that first quarter. So I think what scared me the most was that the results weren't there while Rice was coming online. And also, what am I to do with a very clear dip in form from Travis Kelce? He's of an age where this is expected.
You're obsessed with this.
But he's not the same guy.
He's not focused.
And if he does it in the playoffs, like, to me, that's like I can be as good as I ever was once.
By the way, I'm not saying that. That's what people are saying, though. He's not focused enough.
No, it's not. To me, it's not the focus.
Are you
to
playing
me, it said he's not as good.
The Taylor Swift fire, Stu?
What?
What happened?
Has Stu been poking the bear on the Taylor Swift tapes?
I was just trying to warn Travis Kelce, my friend, what was going to happen if he stopped, if he dropped balls consistently, if the Chiefs didn't go as far as everyone wants them to go or thinks they're going to go. The fans are going to say that Travis Kelce not focused. He's focused on Taylor Swift. He's focused on their relationship.
Stu's not saying it, though.
I'm not saying it.
The
Okay, he's
fans
focused
are
on the
saying
podcast. He's focused on shooting commercials. He's focused on everything but football. These are what Kansas City Chiefs fans are going to say. I found out they're already saying it. They've been saying it all season, Mina. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you're hiding behind the fans are saying. I do like.
I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm warning a friend, Mina.
I do like that your take about focus extends to podcasting and all the other pursuits that Travis Kelce has. Mike, he is not playing at the level he was last year. I do think, however, his position and the nature of what he does with Mahomes, getting open on the scramble drills, that connection. I think in the postseason, I think back to actually the Rams Patriots Super Bowl where like Gronk had that like one final incredible drive where him and Tom Brady just did the, mental connection thing, and it was all they needed. And I kind of feel the same way about Kelce and Mahomes. To answer your question about Rice, though, you're right. He did start coming online a bit at the end of the season, becoming more of a target. But the way that they've used him has evolved. I thought in this last game, what was really notable, he absolutely killed Miami with crossers, right? I think Mahomes went like 5 or 6 targeting him on like deep overs. That's something they didn't really do earlier in the season. And I think as his trust in him has grown, his route tree has grown, the offense has gotten better as a result of that.
All right, I've waited 6 minutes to finally ask you a Baker Mayfield question. I am so excited for this game on Sunday because I'm happy genuinely for Lions fans and for Baker supporters that have stood by our guy.
Great stories,
all these years. Yeah. I know that he struggled, and you could maybe blame an injury toward like those last 2 weeks of the season. I was kind of getting worried. I'm like, oh no, is this magical run over? And then he had a brilliant performance against an Eagles defense that is an absolute mess. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Baker maybe made 2 bad throws in that entire game.
Played well.
Could have easily had 400 yards passing if his receivers showed up the way that he did. That was a dominant performance from Baker Mayfield. I know he's a peaks and valleys guy, but is he finally settling in and fulfilling some of that promise?
Are you asking me if he has
the
I believe they call it the goods?
The goods,
dude. The goods?
Yes.
I think he's good. I don't think he's at the level of several of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, certainly in the AFC. But I think right now he is playing well enough so that it provided complementary football is being played by Tampa, they can certainly win. They can beat inferior opponents. They can beat a defense like the Eagles, which, by the way, I thought that experience was really telling because on the other side of the ball, like how much more confident did you feel watching Baker Mayfield in that offense versus Philadelphia? Watching when the ball would leave his hands and you're watching the TV copy, you can't see who's on the other end. You would watch it thinking he's probably going to throw an accurate pass. Mike Evans dropped it, whereas never felt that confidence with Philly. I do think it's a continuation of what we saw a lot this season. It was, Baker was not perfect. It was inconsistent at times, but he improved in ways that, Mike, to me, feel sustainable and also are things he didn't do earlier in his career. Specifically, the sack avoidance. That was all, you remember that was always an issue with Baker Mayfield, taking sacks, not getting the ball out quick enough. This year, he was the 8th fastest quarterback in terms of time to throw. He was excellent on quick passes, 2.5 seconds or less. That's different from who he was at various points in Cleveland and certainly Carolina. So to see that, I think, is really encouraging for his career. And I think that regardless of what happens this week, he'll probably stick around in Tampa.